So memory isn't the same pre-COVID. You say pre-COVID and no one's quite sure what happened pre-COVID or how many years ago was that? Well, there are a group of people in this room who, under the leadership of Julie, who you'll hear from, our current president, and Howard, our future president, will succeed her in two ways, who knew that your children and their children were a gift that you had shared with us. And therefore, grandparents and special friends became crucial to the life of the community. And the Grandparents and Special Friends Committee came into being. And there are some of you who were there at the very beginning, and the first Grandparents and Special Friends Day ever was held here, and people were cutting up bagels in the morning, and people were welcoming people in person, and it was only in person. Now, today, we didn't do bagels, because cutting up bagels and serving bagels would not have been necessarily what everyone wanted. You will have a snack, and it will be individual, so we don't get into whatever people's practices are. But all of it has come with the involvement of people like yourselves and people who are in the room who sit on the committee. So first of all, if you haven't joined the Grandparents and Special Friends Committee, join it. It is a terrific group of people. And the ones in the room will tell you it really is. She's not just saying that. And if you're out there in Zoom land, you too can be on the Grandparents and Special Friends Committee, because we do it on Zoom. And we will continue to do it on Zoom, because our community and its strength is its diversity. It's where people come from, and that people are on from Israel and people are on from other countries and other states. And we know that the uniqueness of our school is its size, small by design, building human connection across every generation, and together making this school possible. So I want to introduce, on behalf of the Grandparents and Special Friends Committee, Andy Zetlin, who's going to speak to you as a fellow grandparent and special friend. And then he will be followed by Julie Sisman, and then we'll go from there. Thank you. We get the good time, remember? So that's okay.
Can you all hear me? Yes?
Pick up the microphone.
Should I just pick it up? All right, key of C, please? No, I'm only kidding. Grandparents, oh, I have to stand still? No? Grandparents and special friends. Is there anyone here who is not a grandparent, but is in that category of special friends? So we're all grandparents. I, of course, am Zadie. Any other Zadies here? Oh, the best looking put up their hands. It's great. Any bubbies? Oh, there you go. We have more Zadies than bubbies. I don't know why that is. It's usually the other way around. How many Saftas? Oh, and is it Sabas? You're awfully lonely back there. And so what is everybody else?
Poppy.
Poppy. Grandpa.
Mimi.
Are you singing? Oh, I'm just kidding. Mimi. Mimi. Anybody else?
Grammy.
Grammy. Isn't that an award of some kind? What else? Nana. Nana. Anybody else? Nama. You have to love the fact that we all have our titles. And they are the most endearing titles we can possibly have. My involvement with Schechter goes back way before I arrived, or my granddaughter arrived here. My sister was the school nurse at Schechter in Boston for almost 30 years. And her kids went there. She spent a lot of time there, and so we got to know Schechter really well, and it's such a wonderful thing that my granddaughter is now part of this organization. It's also wonderful to see the people on Zoom that I've talked to for 2 years, Yeah, it's really good to see you all. And because we've only ever seen each other, I think, on Zoom. It's kind of an out-of-body experience when you do that. So I know someone here is from Florida, right? You came from Florida? Yep. Anybody further away? How many from, God help me, New Jersey? New Jersey? And how many of you live in New York? So that's the bulk of the crowd. Who did I miss? What state did I miss? Maryland. And? Maryland. I'm sorry? Israel. See? There you go. Welcome. For those of you who have not yet attended our committee meetings, I want to echo what Debbie said and welcome all of you, or any of you, to join. We meet roughly monthly. We discuss what's going on with the school, things that we might do for the school. We get good updates on special events that are going on, so we kind of keep in touch. And it's a good way to know what's going on with your grandchild's education and in this community, fun community. So I want to welcome you all here today. I know some of you drove long distances, flew long distances. I took the train. I live in Cape Cod, and it was kind of fun getting down here today. But it's good to see you all. Have a safe time here and a wonderful time.
Is that good? Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay, great. Hi. It's so good to see all of you here, and I can see on the computer on Zoom also. Welcome to Grandparents and Special Friends Day. I'm Julie Sisman, and I'm the proud president of the board. And I'm just like a little overcome because it's one of my first times back in the building, actually. I live around the corner. I did not have to come on a train or drive very far. And still, at the same time, because of COVID, I've hardly been back in the building. So it's really very meaningful to be here with all of you. Thank you so much to the grandparents and special friends who are part of the committee. To Andy, you spoke beautifully, and really appreciate all the work that you all have put in. It's been a real joy working with Debbie, working with Eric, watching this committee grow over the last few years, and it's been such an important addition to what we have going here at Schechter Manhattan. So really want to say thank you, and again, encourage folks who aren't yet on the committee to join. And I want to say just a couple of things about this amazing place. I think the program that you'll all have today really shows some of the things that make this place so special and so unique. You'll see the collaboration and the creativity. You'll see the critical thinking skills that this school really fosters in kids, and the life skills that come to our students as part of their education here. They solve real world problems. You're going to see that today. You're going to participate in some of that today. They learn compassion and empathy and perspective taking, how to talk to people who are different than they are, and to really be able to interact in those ways. And those are skills I say to my now ninth grader, my Schechter Manhattan alum, all the time. Like, this is a life skill. Like, this is something that you're actually going to need. And I think that's one of the things that's so amazing about this place that I think is actually unique about Schechter Manhattan. So I'm excited for you to see that in a few ways today. Really grateful for your continued support. And the last thing I want to say is very important. I want to introduce my successor. This is the end of my 4th year as board president here at Schechter. It's been my honor to do that. Thank you. And so I want to introduce you to Howard Rubin, who is a very long time trustee here. And one of the things that I think is amazing about Howard, and one of the reasons I'm really excited for him to become board president, is that it's the first time in the history of our school that we've had someone who never had kids in our school be our board president. He is deeply committed to our mission, loves what we do here, and has lots of experience leading different nonprofit boards and serving on different nonprofit boards. He's super fun to work with and has a great sense of humor also, which for those of you who do this type of work know is also incredibly important. So I'm going to introduce Howard.
Thank you. I'm going to have to lower the mic, which I'm used to doing. So I don't want to talk to you as the incoming president. I want to talk to you as a grandparent and special friend. I've been on the board just about since the beginning of the school, but by that time my children were already too old to come to the school. So that they never came here. My grandchildren live in Washington, D.C., so they're not coming here. My daughter got married in November, so we're hopeful that in a little while, and maybe we will have a child to send here. I've always thought that special friends and grandparents, I mean, you think as grandparents, don't you think of us as special friends? At the same time, I've been a special friend to a niece at a school in the city. But apropos of what a couple of people said about where they came from, my grandson was in a secular, I think that's important, nursery school in Washington, D.C. They had Grandparents' Day. We drove down there. 3 kids had somebody there. We didn't think twice about driving down to Washington, D.C. for an hour, right? That's what Jewish grandparents do. This year, their Grandparents' Day was on Zoom, so of course we Zoomed, and then we assume we'll go down again the next time that they have it. My favorite story about being a grandparent is they say that if God had asked Abraham to sacrifice his grandchild instead of his child, he would have told him no way. There's no way. And I think we all have that feeling, which is why you're here, and having schlepped, I think that's the Latin expression, schlepped, from various different states around the country to be here with your grandchildren. So welcome you. I hope you enjoy the program today. I'm sure you will. And I look forward to working with all of you over the next couple of years as I serve as president. Thank you.
In order to make sure we continue the program, I can't say all the things I'd love to say other than thank you to both Julie and to Howard. We're going to now move into an overview and a set of experiences that the students and their faculty are going to provide for all of you both here and on Zoom. And then you yourselves will get a chance to go experience the learning experience of your students. And that's why it's very important that you look at and hold your name tags and know what color you are, so you will know where to go to see your grandchildren. And as we proudly welcome our 8th grade, who are truly bring us great pride. We will miss them dearly. Those of you at the gala will get a second shot at seeing them. And if you haven't made a plan to come to the gala, please do, in person or on Zoom. And now, I leave it to our students and faculty.
All right. Hi, everyone. You guys ready? Yeah. It's a little cramped in there, but it looks good. Okay. We're going to play a song for you guys on the ukuleles. Here we go. Everyone's got their picks. Just give me a quick C chord to make sure we're on the same page here. 1. Beautiful. Here we go. 2, 3, go.
I've been trying to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping
City. They're going to be Monday night at the gala, playing drums, and then next Thursday singing songs at the graduation. So they've been busy. All right, 5th grade.
All right, so first of all, that was just beautiful. I loved listening to the incredible musicianship of so many of our students. As you can see, we have more student presenters coming in. So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Allison Levine, and I am the coordinator of Schechter Manhattan's Lieberman Family STEAM Center. And today's a really exciting day at Schechter Manhattan, of course, because of Grandparents and Special Friends Day. Having you all here to see what a day in the life of our students is at school. And also because this morning we had a very special STEAM program. This morning was our annual project fair, which we call STEAM Fest. And it's where students in all of the grades get to present STEAM projects that address a real world problem. And this year our real world problems were all about access and accessibility. And throughout this process, students worked collaboratively and followed the steps of something called an engineering design process, which is a process that guides the development of an idea. So students as young as kindergarten all the way through our 8th grade got to go through many steps, including brainstorming, researching, planning, creating, testing, and improving their designs. One of the main focuses of our STEAM Fest, and really all of the work that we do in our STEAM Center, is teaching students how to design for for an authentic problem, and to develop empathy for others, and to design with the client in mind. And I'm saying the word client now because this is something you're going to be hearing a lot during our presentations and also when we do our activity. But I'll define it right now, but the students can certainly speak more in depth about it. A client is a person or a population that you're designing for. And the way that our students got to find out more about the people who they were designing for is that they had the opportunity to consult with and interview different people who really work in the fields of access and accessibility. They got to interview people who work at an adaptive design association. They got to interview architects from Center for Architecture. A group got to Zoom with a refugee from Togo and his host family. So they heard all about different aspects of access and accessibility. And that information informed these designs that you're seeing today. In a minute, you're going to see a short video showcasing parts of the process and the projects. And then you're going to get to hear from a few of our students and see the projects that they presented this morning. I hope you enjoy.
So I think it's really important for refugees to get the access that they need to necessities. It's really just important for them to have a roof over their heads and to be comfortable in the community that they're living in. They need so many things. Like, people really just need to appreciate that so many people are coming and they're new to the communities and the area that they're in.
So my group has created this, well, it's here for people who have trouble and need back support. Yeah. And I think that it's important to be creating chairs to help people who need this. It's because if people who needed this wouldn't get it, then it would be harder for humans to actually do stuff, and it would be hard for those humans too, and they would feel bad that they couldn't do some stuff. And it's the community.
A client is the person that we're creating something for or our product for. And it's important to know who your client is to really know exactly what they need to make our design good for them.
So this year our question for STEAMfest was about access and making things accessible for immigrants and refugees once they come to America. So we actually did an interview with a refugee. His name was Quadro, and the woman who hosted him named Nancy. It was really interesting, and we learned about his story. Yeah, and so
our client was Josh from the middle school, and he told us a little bit about what problems that were in the bike lanes on bridges.
This is the shelf. That thing is where it gets dry, and we're planning to make a little hand sanitizer thing. So we have an idea that we're doing Storywalk in the park, and I was thinking that it could be made out of wood and then dry and words are on top, and then maybe there's a map in the corner that people can see, and then maybe it's kind of taped or laminated and on top.
We're making a subway ramp that will come out of the subway train, and this would be the train cart, and it would go like that because there was this gap. And I read this article about this girl who she was saying that she couldn't get, when she was getting in and out of the subway car, a lot of people bystanders had to help her and pick her up, and the wheelchair is obviously heavy, and she might be like uncomfortable with asking people, so this was just an easier way.
So this is our product named Bella, Your Best Friend. And our product is we were challenged with the question, how can we help immigrant kids learn English? And this is how we wanted to help that challenge. So what Bella does is if you hold her paw and press.
Intenta decir esto. ¿Puedo tomar algo de agua o comida? Try saying this. Can I please have some water or food?
So, we made an app called IY, which stands for Immigrants with Interests. And basically what it is that you can both make friends on it and you can find equipment to do your hobby.
And the problem we're trying to address is that in, for example, grocery store aisles, people in wheelchairs can't make narrow turns as easily as they could if they had this wheelchair.
So on here, as you can see, there's a light, and it's called an accelerometer. And when you turn the joystick, the light moves in different directions. So in the actual project, it would actually move the weight into different directions.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm Danielle. I'm Hannah. And I'm Norm. Welcome to our STEAM Fest project. We will be presenting two things to you. One is our STEAM Fest project about access, and the other is our Center for Architecture Bridge Design. For our STEAM Fest, our class focused on the question, how can we use bridges to increase access? The problem our group is trying to solve trash in the bike lane. Our client is bikers. We asked questions to an expert on biking named Josh. He told us about how annoying and hard it is to bike in the bike lane with trash in it, so we decided to do something about it. So we invented Bridget, the bridge cleaner. Bridget is a high-tech robot that cleans bike lanes so there's no more trash. We will demonstrate. Hey. Hi, I'm Bridget. Where's Bridget's robot? I made a transportation bridge that caters to people who are walking, running, or biking across the bridge. Mine doesn't just go across the water, but it also has a special feature that makes it unique. The gondola is able to be elevated or lowered depending on the tides of the water underneath it. I had that idea because if there are waves or high tides, people might get wet. But if it is high up, then they won't. You might not understand this feature, but I will demonstrate to you. The main things my bridge is made out of is cardboard, white boxes, tape, and string. If I had more time, I would have made it easier to move up and down. I have also made my gondola easier to connect to the magnets, but I'm still really proud of it. So now I'm going to demonstrate my bridge. So it goes up and down like this. It goes up and down like that. I don't like using the other side because it sort of broke this morning. But I can move it with my hand. And then it goes across like that. And then it lowers back down like this.
and then it connects to this magnet. Yeah, so it stays in place. Our names. Welcome to our STEAM project. Our names are Dahlia and Gabriel. Our challenge was to figure out how to manufacture something to help kids who need extra help setting up to do different activities. Our clients are kids who need additional back support, who want to watch TV and use a tablet. We learned how people make special seats from an expert named Tamara. One thing she told us was you can make strong seats out of cardboard and glue. You'll need to interview the client to find out what they need. Our group manufactured our project using these materials: bubble wrap, felt, lots of tape, hot glue, and the tape machine. Here is how our project works. So you sit in the seat and then you have the table on here on your lap. There's also some armrests that you could move with your arms, and there's an iPad holder which you can move according to how you want the iPad to be showing. So if you're leaning back, you can have this even like that, so you can see it. And we put this seat you could lean back on, and there's also a headrest on it. It's been damaged a lot. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Do you have any questions for us?
Hello, my name is Jonah, Skylar, and Ethan. Our project is called SEJ, or S-E-J, which stands for Skylar, Ethan, and Jonah. Our project is a wheelchair that, because of a ball and socket for the wheel, can move in any direction. And this is very useful for grocery store aisles and other cramped spaces. Our class focused on the question, how can adaptive devices increase accessibility for people with disabilities? And so our client is, or anybody that needs a wheelchair for whatever reason. It could be, even if it's only temporary. And the problem was that a lot of in cramped spaces, it's very difficult for people in wheelchairs to move around. And now, instead of having to make a full 90-degree turn, you can just move one way and then move sideways, and then the seat also swivels, so you can always be facing front. We met with some experts at Adaptive Design who gave us information about how to build our model.
So, like Jonah said, we met with with Tamara from the Adaptive Design Association, just like a few other classes, and they custom make items for people with disabilities, just like we did here with this wheelchair. So they produce specially designed products to help children specifically with disabilities, and they customize chairs, just like we did with wheelchairs, for people that had problems sitting up. And for materials, they use simple things like glue and cardboard, which we also use. So just like the ADA customized chairs, we customize wheelchairs for more specific areas and needs. We also took comfort into consideration for our customers. For our armrests, we added foam, and on the rest of the seat, we added foam also for the cushion. Once we had built the model armrest, which is here, we tested it so we could make it the most functional and comfortable.
So this is our model armrest, and if it was actually on the wheelchair, you would be holding it like this. And here you might notice it's a joystick, which are on both of these models. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there is a little light panel on here. And as you move the joystick, the light actually switches where it is on the panel. So it's not actually hooked up to the wheel, but in the actual wheelchair, it would be. And what it would do is, in the ball underneath, there would be a weight inside, and when the joystick moves, it shifts, it alters the weight, it alters the movement of the weight, so where it would turn one way, and then the wheelchair would move that way. And if it turns the other way, then it would move that way. So that's how the ball would move, and the use of this item, like Jonas said, it could be for grocery aisles, or anything, and that's why our slogan is "Move like never before," because we want everyone in wheelchairs to move just like how you would if you're walking.
Okay, I hope you are all very inspired by these designs and creativity and innovation, because in a couple of minutes, you are going to be participating in a design challenge with your grandparents and your grandchildren and special friends. The activity you're going to be doing in the classrooms focuses on designing for a real world client. You're going to get a video from a person with a problem that they would like you to help solve, and they're going to tell you about certain needs and constraints, and you're going to go through a much shorter version of what the students did today, and you're going to be working together, collaborating like we do at Schechter Manhattan, to create a prototype that makes someone's life better.
It's fun to see and hear how pleased you all were, and we'll find a way to capture what went on in the classrooms for those of you on Zoom. You have to know that we have people from Israel and all over on the Zoom, and they're staying up late to be with us. It's been a privilege this year to be co-head of school with our principal of 20 years, who was co-head of school this year and who is being honored on Monday night. So it's my privilege to introduce Gary Pretzfelder, our principal and co-head of school.
Thank you, Debbie. So I just said to Debbie, she's introducing me, but she's taking away my first two sentences. I was going to say, hi, I'm Gary Pretzfelder, but now you know who I am. It's really nice to have you all back in our building after so many years. Back to engage in the learning process that goes on in our classroom, and just for us to see you in person. I think we all feel the specialness of that moment when we actually get to see people face to face. And it's just wonderful to see you all here. And hopefully, I've had a chance to speak to some of you this morning, this afternoon, and hopefully I'll get a chance to say hi to others who I haven't had a chance yet to do that with. So here at Schechter Manhattan, learning happens in so many ways. Through reading, writing, observing, doing, building, and creating, just to name a few. But what consistently makes our student experience stand out is the ways in which our teachers put our students at the center. They create learning moments that offer their students the opportunities to be actively engaged in learning, pursue inquiry, solve problems, in every subject, whether it's from Torah to mathematics. And today you had a chance to see that student-centered curriculum, hands-on learning through the STEAM activity that you and your grandchildren and special friends created and participated in classrooms. I'd like to highlight for you another such program and curriculum, one that our 8th graders have participated in this year. So 6 months ago, our soon-to-be graduates embarked on an educational journey to learn about the Shoah, the Holocaust, through first-hand accounts. With guidance from what I can honestly say is truly a transformative educational program called Names Not Numbers, our students have had the privilege of meeting and speaking with 3 survivors, 3 incredible human beings who allowed us to document their lives on film. Eva Bender, Rabbi Meir Moskowitz, and Emil Siegel, survivors of the Shoah, shared with our students their lives, their personal stories that took place during Hitler's Europe in the 1930s and 1940s. Actually, tomorrow evening, we will gather for the first time for the screening of Names Not Numbers, a movie in the making that both documents the stories of these survivors as well as follows our students as they engage these adults and learn about their incredible life stories. What makes this particularly special is that this movie was actually filmed and produced by our 8th graders. Today, we'd like to give you a taste of this program by sharing 18 minutes of what is close to an hour documentary. You'll get a behind-the-scenes look and see the process that our students went through in order to create this documentary. You'll get a small taste of the meaningful stories from the survivors that our students encountered, and you'll begin to understand the impact that these stories had on our students, our 14 and 15-year-old students. They are clearly young teenagers. The section that you're about to see will focus on the childhood years of our survivors before the war. The rest of the film, which you won't have a chance to see, at least this evening or this afternoon, continues on to relate how each survivor and their families lived through the war and the lives they rebuilt after the war. Let me say, having both been through many of the interviews and having seen a preview of the movie, the stories are rich and really meaningful. We hope that many of you will be able to join us tomorrow evening for the full viewing. The full viewing will be taking place at Sutton Place Synagogue on East 51st Street on the east side, starting at 7:15. And if not, we'd be happy to share it with you after the formal screening. If you would like to be added to the list for tomorrow night, please speak to Debbie or me after the screening, after the showing. Or if you'd like for us to get you a copy of the full version at some point next week, please give us your name and we'd be happy to share it with you. So I'm going to step aside now and introduce you to Names Not Numbers, a movie in the making. But I think you already begin to get a sense of the kinds of stories that these heroes, share, simple heroes, people like you and me, just people living their lives, shared with our students. And there's another, this is 18 minutes, there's probably another 35 or 40 minutes of film in which we hear some of the real challenges that these individuals and their families faced during the Holocaust, and how they came out on the other side and built a life for themselves. It is a powerful, powerful program, and I hope that this trailer gives you not only a sense of the kind of work we do with our children, where we put them in the center. They are the ones who are producing. They are the ones who are asking the questions. They are the ones who are digging to learn. That's how we approach education here. And I hope some of you will have an opportunity tomorrow night to join us at Sutton Place Synagogue. And as I said, please come up to Debbie or me at the end if you are interested in getting signed up for that. Before I hand the mic back to Debbie, I just want to say a few thank yous. And one of them I'm going to start with is Debbie. So this whole day took a team of people. I'm going to, not in any particular order, but the first four names that come to my mind are Debbie, Eric, Allison, and Shira, who have been ensconced in making this happen. The technology, on the administration, on the PR, along with our colleagues, Timothy and Deanna and Douglas and Gabriella and Mimi. It really took a whole team cutting across the education and administrative teams. And it's that kind of collaboration which we cherish here and love, and creates a really special afternoon like today. So thanks to all of you and all of you in the back, and I pass it over to Debbie. Toda rabah.
It takes a village, and you guys are a part of this village with all the wonderful names, and you've added to the spirit of the day by understanding that what goes on here, we know, is really what will make the world better, and that what our children are getting, they really can't get in this way anywhere else. So thank you all for being here. Please join both tomorrow night, there are a lot of festivities, and Monday night. If you can't be there at the gala in person, please join us on Zoom. So you will all get the Zoom link. Don't miss it. Just like today, it will be experiences you can't get anywhere else. Gary, thank you. Everyone who's in this room, you made it happen. And when you're leaving now, kids will be getting ready for dismissal. So we need to be very supportive by waiting outside for your own kids and letting the little ones go out in the way that they're used to. So thank you all, and may everyone stay healthy and be back again next year together. And those of you on Zoom, I know you came back, so thanks for being here.